Good morning. Do I have an exciting video for you today? I am listing out a million language arts options. So let's get to it. First, I'm going to start doing a question of the day. So if you leave me a question in the comments, I will respond to it probably in the comments as well as here on a video. I will never reveal your name, so you do not have to worry about that. So the question I got was, how do I occupy my children while I work? Now I did do a video on it, but I wasn't super impressed with my hair that day. I know, that sounds like a reason to scrap a whole video. I'll probably release it when I'm away, set it up for future, but for now, let's just get to how do I occupy my kids when I work. I work from home, so I understand that. So this is what I do so first of all, toys wise, if you want to occupy for toys, studies show that between 6 to 8 toys is the maximum amount of toys that kids should have access to at any given time. Any more than that, and they're likely to be a little too overwhelmed and they won't play as well. So not only would I reduce toys, I would, anytime you want to do something where you want to lay down, you want to rest, you need a nap, which you totally deserve and you should be taking every day is some time for that. You need to work. What I do is I separate my children, I give them each their iPad, and then on there's a couple different things you can do. So you can do Code Spark. Code Spark is my number one recommendation for this. The reason I love Code Spark is, so besides the fact that they're learning coding, is they love it. Like they love it. They love it. They would play for hours if I let them. Now it is $14 a month, so I do have some free option as well for games. But I mean, even the youngest at like 4 or 5 can play Code Spark and can figure it out and can utilize it. So I just think that that is a super cool option. So what I do is I make them all a plate of food. I separate them into different corners of the house. And then I give them their iPads. I explain to them, okay, your water's over there, the bathroom's there. If you need anything, you guys have to work together as a team because mom's gonna be unavailable for a few hours. Now, of course, anytime they scream or whatever, you know when you have to leave your room, but essentially, and then I lock the door. That's the truth, because I lock the door only because just to get what's the reason? What's the reason you're coming in? Because I'll hang out with you for hours, and I do. But this particular time, I need quiet because I need to work. Okay, or if I can, I'll put one of them in the corner in here with some blankets and put earphones on, and then they can do what they're doing on the iPad if it's not disturbing me. So another option, a free option, is PBS Kids games. They have a ton of them. Also Inventioneers as well. They're very interesting. Kids love them. They teach you all tons of stuff. I want to say there's 3 different PBS Kids apps. Now, if you're in Canada or you're in the rest of the world, you need a VPN. NordVPN is what I use. It's like $24 for 2 years. All you do is you download the app, you pay for the app, you sign in with your email, and then you select a country. And I'll put USA, and it will, so if I'm not inside the United States, and there you go, it thinks my tablet's inside the United States, so I'm able to access a lot of stuff I couldn't before. I'm able to run PBS Kids. You get different Netflix shows. So try it sometimes. Anywhere I am, if I want to watch Paw Patrol, because Paw Patrol is Canadian, I'll put VPN on for Canada, and then on Netflix we get, some more Paw Patrol episodes or Gigantosaurus that my kids haven't seen before. All right, so that was your question of the day. Oh, last thing is that you can get Safe Vision. Safe Vision is we call it green YouTube in this house. It's called Safe Vision. You get 5 free channels, and then you can just put channels on there that you feel comfortable with your kids watching. So let's talk about some products here that we have. So I have a ton of language arts curriculums to show you. I have secular, I have Christian, I have neutral, I got all different types. So when we talk language arts today, I'm gonna be talking about literacy programs, I'm gonna be talking about spelling programs, grammar programs, blah, 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 on and on and on and on. Okay, so let's talk about this first product. It is just to practice different sight words and things and different word finding. So you're basically just you flip over 2 cards, whoever finds it first. Whoever matches the word to the picture. Next up, we got High Five magazine. I wish I could give you my copies because my kids are pretty much done with it. But it has a ton of different games, a ton of different stories. It's got a craft in here, it's got a food in here. You can get it free on the Libby app as well. All right, next up, Alphabet Bingo. It is not bad. See, so that it's an alphabet and the letters begin with certain things. So it's an alphabet bingo that you can play while you're doing it. Okay, so let's get into some language. Oh no, I wanted to show you. So this book, every day I usually feature a book because that's how much I read and I love books. This book is amazing. It is from Abeka. It is from their reading series. It is $20 for this book, $23. You get a ton of pages. I want to say 126 pages. It comes with questions as well at the end, but this particular book is called Strong and True. It is from, if you see there's a number on there, it says 1G, so it is from their year 1 program. And what it is if you go through as Christian, so it is not for you, it's not even close to secular or neutral. Okay, so look at this. These are the traits. These are the character themes and the story traits throughout. So already we've read like about a blackbird, and it's perfectly aged for level 1, as far as I'm concerned. My son is 7, one of my children, and it's perfect for him because it talks about, so we already have, and the stories are interesting. That's the thing, is you can have a ton of readers and they can teach you stuff, but if they're not really interesting, like today my son was like, let's read another. That's what I want to hear, right? That's like your dream for a child in a book and a reader. So it's got a couple poems in here, but every book teaches you something. Why is the crow happy? Like the crow wasn't appreciating all the happiness. And then in another story, it's about this dog, and the dog was being selfish. So it all has these really interesting stories that teach you things and get you talking about different stuff here. And at the end it has questions for it. Now it also has different words and things like that you can study. I just do them as read-alouds because my son isn't at that level yet where he's reading. But the way they're designed is they get progressively more difficult as the time goes on, but still all very interesting. Okay, so let's talk, and this is called Strong and True from Abeka. Now let's talk, okay, so you got, oh, one more product, 2 more products. Okay, so this is a series, this is teaching emotional resiliency. It's $49, comes with the bookmarks, comes with stickers, and comes with a cute little bag. And what it is, so every book is talking about different emotions. It's getting the kids to identify, see these characters going through these situations and how do they comfort each other? How do they express their feelings? How do you know they're sad? And so it's to identify characters' feelings, the body signals, to develop compassion, and identify how receiving comfort feels good. And so there's colors throughout which match up with the goals of which you are working on or trying to identify through the book. And so there's I want to say 5 stories, 5 nursery rhyme stories, popular stories, classic stories that are retold in a little different way, but still very interesting. And like I said, it's $49 and it teaches, is it necessary? I guess after reading them, it's not really necessary, but it is interesting to help. It does help the discussions progress, where I was like, oh, how does she comfort her sister? Because I'm fed that, and I need to be fed those words, those questions. I can't just come up with them on my own. It's what I'm teaching them as part of our breakfast books. One of the things we go through is we're just flipping through the book and going through the definitions. They're very simple, so they're not real like they're for young kids, right? Kindergarten, grade 1, because I'm big into vocab. And so we're just talking definitions, polite and respect. Heart of Dakota, it is an all-in-one curriculum. There's not that many all-in-one curriculums. This one is better priced than some of the all-in-one curriculums, but the best would be for secular pricing-wise, for their all-in-one curriculum, you don't need any additional books, Blossom and Root, and it's a good curriculum, it's a gentle curriculum, and it covers a lot of stuff that you need to know. If your child has problems with language arts, remember you can separate it out into different things. You don't need to do an all-in-one program for that. Okay, so let's talk Heart of Dakota. So Heart of Dakota, you may have to put clothes on. So Heart of Dakota is a Christian company. And what they do is, so take a look at this. So you'll see on every page, these are the things you cover every day. So it's very clearly laid out. It's very easy. And the phonics choices, what you're doing for phonics is you're discussing, so they always have reading with history, and then you can purchase the additional products that they recommend. There's about 5 that you can get, or you can do your own. So anytime there is a star there, like look on the phonics, it has their phonics program they recommend, but also or one of your own. So that is an option if you wanted to do, if you were looking for kind of an all-in-one curriculum, that's their phonics element to it, okay? That's their reading element in it as well. You can also do one of these, which is How to Teach My Child in 100, in 100 Easy Lessons. They're actually, it's very dry, but it's to the point, right? You're gonna learn how to read, but is it exciting? No. Is it that fun? No. But again, it's an option. So I'm letting you know all your options today. Okay, so what was I talking about? Okay, I was gonna show you Abeka. So I bought all the kids the kindergarten language arts because I want to try it out, want to see, hey, use it with my son, let me try it out. So it's $500 for the kids' materials. This is my problem with Abeka. It's a great program. I'm not saying it's not. I love the readers. I love the readers, okay? Super interesting. Great. I pay $500 and get the children's version of Abeka, thinking I don't need the teacher materials because they're kids like how complicated can it be? Yeah, it's complicated. I needed those teachers books for another $500. Okay, so this is like writing with phonics. So here, let me show you into it. So writing with phonics in here. Start at the beginning. Okay, so it comes with my K5, my blend and word book. So again, Elemental Phonics has the same thing here. Now, I'm gonna show you one of the programs for children who have difficulty learning. I guess I'll wait till I get to that. Because the big difference is between this, because Elemental Phonics does the same thing as this, and their program's like $10 each book. So, and then it's got these learn to reads. I learn to read, and it starts with, and so it starts off pretty basic down here. So it comes with a bunch of readers. It comes with your cards, which I really like. The mini alphabet flashcards, I like that. Acorn, because I don't always know the letter to make, and my son who pays attention to me so well, and I make these errors, and maybe no one else makes these errors, like maybe they come naturally to you, they do not come naturally to me. Okay, so let's see, is that all we got? Because for this too, you can choose, for Abeka, you can choose manuscript, or you can choose the cursive. So I chose manuscript for that. Oh, and so here, let me show you, this is like the book for the manuscript writing. I love writing. Why you would love that, I don't know. But you can also do, of course, here is all about writing. And so it's pretty easy, you do a page a day. I like it, I think it's nice and simple. I like simple things that are effective. There's a bit more, with Abeka you get like a ton of stuff. So here is letters and sounds, and this is their book. Can you just order their book? Why, yes you can. So here, you just take a look at it. So if you just want just to order the book, sure, but Miss Wordsmith's got a pretty cool book too you can order. Miss Wordsmith, I'll show it to you. Okay, so done on that. Pile it in my pile. Let's go to Elemental Phonics. It's got level 1, level 2, level 3. Again, very simple, very to the point. Look at that. The only thing I don't like about Elemental Phonics is, again, it doesn't have the sound picture for me. If it had the sound picture, it would be a home run. But I noticed, I fell in love with that first, but then I noticed going through it, that again, it doesn't have the sound. Yes, I could look it up myself, absolutely, but sometimes I forget when I'm knee deep what the heck a word sounds like. I know, probably no one else does that, but that's just a thing I have. So it's very simple, $10 a book. This is the second one, $10 a book, and this is level 3. $10 a book to teach your kids to read. Next up we have, all right, let's talk about, I'm kind of confused at this system here. It is the system for the HBL for Sunlight. I know, I just have, it's not that I don't like Sunlight, it's just that I find better products other places after using Sunlight. Okay, so the HBL, their reading program, it's true like most things, it is not very Christian because they share a ton of stuff with Bookshark. So you're not gonna get Christianity woven into it like you would think and you would hope with a curriculum called Sunlight, but you don't. So it's got those little books, the little readers that you start with. And to be honest, I don't think it comes with any other workbooks or anything. Like I didn't see it. I'm looking at the teacher's manual here, and the teacher's manual, if you haven't seen what they usually look like, is they're pretty simple. So discuss what you read. So but this is actually, now that I think about it, this is a literature program. So I got the kindergartner grade 1 literature program, but I guess it's not a phonics program. I guess it's not teaching them to read, even though it comes with these little tiny reader books. So I'm kind of confused at the point of this, but I bought it not a long time ago, a couple months ago, and I guess I have since forgotten. Before we get to that, look at Rod and Staff. Rod and Staff is a very nice program. I like it. Again, the simple. So this starts off very simply, very easily. I know, I do have stuff for older kids as well. I'm just showing you the basics so that you can see what you can start. This is grades 1 through 3. This is from Abeka. So anyone on grades 1 through 3, if you need prep and starting your reading, this is the phonics. It's the phonics textbook. Okay, so short vowels, long vowels. It starts teaching you off right at the beginning, very simply, very easily. So it's one of their things. So if you wanted to switch to Abeka, or maybe you want to get some of these readers and you think you need this, you don't. But if you maybe want your kids to learn, whatever, I don't know. But there you go, it's an option. And see, let me show you more of Becca's readers since the pile is here. So there's a ton of them. And some of them, there's always a book that teaches values, teaches history. I mean, and again, they're really interesting and they're all labeled 3F, 3A, 3B, 3C. So you know what grade level you're supposed to be going in. And that is one of the things I think Becca does really well is all of their products are labeled. So if, you know, if I pick up a book and I'm like, that was one of the problems with ordering all these curriculums is like, I'm like, what goes with what? I don't know, but I know Becca's because they clearly state it. Okay, so one last thing for Becca. This is the next level up, and this is the C work right here. So don't forget as well, if you have a child, you might want to, a lot of people find success with an all about reading. With all about reading for children as well who have dyslexia, for have issues, or an alternative is, I did a video on it yesterday. I think it was a pretty good video in my opinion, but let me show you into this. So it's got the superimposed, the sound and the picture, they're superimposed on each other in a lot of these things in order to help you really learn and see how that word is. So it's level 1. You can start it for your child anytime, and it's supposed to be in a matter of 1 year, you should see, your child should go up 2 grade levels. And this is their reader, and it comes with the transparencies, which for some reason helps children read pretty easily. So it'll show you the words here that you're supposed to be learning. It gives you, remember, it shows you that flashcard, it corresponds to the flashcard to give you a reminder. And then you should be able to, Pat is a rat, Pat is mine. And if they are doing the sight word cards, they will be able to read this book. And with the transparencies, it will help them see. So, and they have this program for math, for science, for whatever. So if a program isn't working for you, pick up this program, you can. Now, before I forget, let's talk literacy programs. One of my favorite literacy programs is secular. It is Torchlight. I think it's great. I also have some other ones here that are neutral and some that are Christian. Okay, so let's talk Brave Writer. Brave Writer is an option. I would do 1 or 2 things. After having purchased Brave Writer, I would do 1 of 2 options if you're considering Brave Writer. Brave Writer is just, it's helping you inspire creativity without judging them and how to give positive feedback to them. And it gives you some ideas. You can get the Brave Writer, it's not a curriculum, but it's a manual. I guess you can get it for $79. So I think it would make a great book for $24.95. I honestly do. I don't think it should be called a curriculum. So I would either get that and use that for the entirety of your years, or I would not get it because all the important information is spread out, and I would get the Jot or the Quill or the Arrow or whatever level your child is at and do those creative things. I think those are worth the money. I think those are well laid out. They're attractive to the eye. I felt so overwhelmed when I opened Brave Writer that I mean, I've done a review on it. I just don't recommend it. And people are like, oh, well, one person was like, how could you not know that's what you're getting? Yeah, that's the problem, is their website is not clear as to what you are getting. So that is an option for creative writing. A lot of people like IEW. The only thing I got from IEW was, and you'll see it here, which is Fix It Grammar, which is very cool. Let's take a look through it. So level 1, they're Fix It Grammar. So look, you got the vocabulary, you got the nouns. This is the workbook. And so that's what you got. You got to rewrite it. You mark it, you find the 2 nouns, you do 1 capital and 1 end mark. So it starts off very basic, very slow, and I like that. One of the programs that I also like, which is also neutral, this I would call neutral, would be Guest Hollow. Guest Hollow has a very affordable curricular program for all years, and it is told as a story. It is a story. Their cute little dog, that the mom who's the artist, the cute little dog is the one that walks you through the program. And I want to say for all the years that you need for grammar, it's like 49 bucks. I think. You'll have to check their website for that as well. And that's an e-thing, that's like online. So look at this, this just came, this I really wanted. It deals with grammar, vocabulary, phonics, handwriting, and more. So let me show you. So each page is different in a way, so it's practicing handwriting there. And then it's got a lot of practicing of handwriting and sounds at the same time, like earth and surf, okay, as well as, and then it's got blend the letters here. So I just think, and then once you get into vocabulary for young kids, what is this person doing? I don't know, I just liked it, so I got 2 of them, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so next up we got 5 in a row. It's supposed to be another all-in-one curriculum. And it is and it isn't. It's a literacy program. Again, back to literacy. I know, I'm jumping all over, but that's because I got all these piles here. So I already did all about reading. I want to make sure I did. Oh, another grammar one. This is really interesting. They sent me 3 of the student book and no teacher's manual. You think they would have been like, hey, double check that with me. That I don't need 3 student manuals, that I need a teacher book. So this is Easy Grammar, goes all the way up to, I want to say even, okay, it goes up to at least grade 6. And it's a nice book, nice cover. They don't usually say it, but look let me show you how it was. So day 1, you're focusing on capitalization. So I honestly don't think, at least I don't think I need the student or the teacher manual for this because it's pretty laid out. A statement tells you something. Place a period at the end of the statement. For example, I am 6. And the capital there they made tall. And so it does about, you start off doing a page a day and then at the end of the book, you get to 2 pages a day. So, no, I guess through the whole thing. I don't know where I saw that. But through the whole thing, you do a page a day. A page a day. And you can start it, this is grade 1. So you can start it in grade 1 if you want. So that is another grammar option. That's Easy Grammar. Oh yeah, I was telling you about 5 in a row. Okay, let me go back. I only got a couple more options here. Okay, so 5 in a row. 5 in a row, it's supposed to be an all-in-one curriculum, and it is and it isn't. It is and it isn't. I mean, it's up to you to decide. But so for example, so you'll read a book. You read a book 5 days of the week, okay? So it's got the book list here. You do not have to buy the books from them. They use classic books. Classic books means old, which means you can always get them at the library, like without a doubt. It does mean they're long-winded. They're not short children's books, and it also means it's once in a while they're a little boring, but so are new books now. We picked a book, The Red Coat. You're gonna read it every day for that week, and that week that is your book, and that is your job, is to read that book. And then you're gonna choose, it usually has about maybe 7 different areas you can study in here. So it'll have language arts, it'll have geography, it'll have history, it'll have science, it will have like art in here, and you can choose. It'll have social studies, and you can choose which activities you do. So then you go through, and so you're spending probably about an hour a day, hour and a half a day, depending on what project it is. So for example, you will open the page for art and you'll see, okay, let's talk about the drawing here and what types of drawing it is. It'll be like under science, it'll be like, okay, let's go to the museum, or let's find an old steamship museum here, or a train museum, and go to that and spend the day there. So and let's talk about STEAM if the book deals with STEAM. So it's very isolated though. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you're gonna get science in all these different areas per se. It's like, okay, now we're talking STEAM. And the thing is volume 1, the ages that they have it for is ages, 5 to 9. That is a huge jump, 5 to 9. So in that sense, you can kind of be a family unit, but it's very teacher intensive, and it's not pretty, but it's easy to understand. So this is, my favorite language arts curriculum that I'm planning to use with the 5-year-old. Although I have started using, these right here I'm using with everybody, the right brain phonics, because especially if you have a gifted child as well, sometimes there's a cross between the right and the left brain that's not really getting there. So if your child has trouble handwriting, this might be the program for you, if not for the reading, then for the writing. But I am gonna use this with all my kids, but I am switching to this and using this was my winner of a curriculum. And we'll do different grammar exercises and stuff like that as well on top of that. Oh my gosh, I didn't show you right here. So I brought All About Reading so that you could take a look at it. There's also All About Spelling, which I don't know that I'm gonna use, but here is BlastOff to Reading. So this is what their student manual looks like. So when you first start, so it has an interesting activity that you can do every day. So it is a lot of prep, but anytime your children need extra help, it's no matter what program you use, I've noticed that it's gonna be a little bit of work. I just found it not as alive as using the other program, which is this. So if you do not have a child that's from, an alternative too is, because it has the simple things, is this I forgot to mention. So this is, I can read it, and what you do is it has the storybooks that coincide, and so lesson 1 you learn these words, and then you can read the story as long as you got the sight words down. So that's a very simple option as well that is on the website, I believe under language arts. Now here, this is my book of letters. So this is, I don't think you need it for the, little kids. It's the pre-writing book, so you don't need it if you're going to get all about reading, because basically you're learning a lot of the sounds through there, but it's basically teaching letter identification. So that is an option as well. Now let's go back to, I'm all over the place, but you just have to bear with me. That is just the joy of my personality. All right, so this is the orange book. This is Common Sense Press. Speaking of which, I also bought Christian Lit as well, Christian literature. I didn't like the program. I didn't like it because I felt it was overpriced. It's $69 a year, and generally literacy programs, because you have to buy all the books, generally the teacher's manual, which is PDF, is usually not that high priced. Like for Torchlight, it's $40. So I just think $69 was a little high price for me, and I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But I'm gonna go take a look at it again just to see. But now we're talking, this is one of the few all-in-ones: grammar, vocabulary, spelling, writing mechanics, reading, poetry, research, creative writing programs. Like this has everything built into it. It is the Common Sense Press, and I did a video showing it to you that I will attach at the end. I will also attach a video for the Right Brain Phonics as well, so you can take a look at that. And then in it, it just has everything in it. So it's got journal writing units. I mean, there's nothing that this doesn't cover. The book study. And so this orange, the only problem I have with these is like, it's orange. I don't know what level that is. So I always have to go to the website and take a look and be like, okay, what level is the orange book at? Oh no, it's right here. The blue book is 1st grade, so the orange would be 4th grade. So this is 4th grade skills that we're talking about. And so inside, again, it has everything laid out. It has assessments you can do to practice with your children just to see where they're at and see what they're lacking. And then the book study, for example, does like the boxcar children. It does Wilbur Orwright. But these books, I believe they use classic books, but again, it says you can substitute any book. But the beauty of classic books is that every library has it. And the more you get up, your first year of this is $100 because it comes with a ton of supplies. The higher you go up, I believe the less it is. Just to recap, I'm going to use this one, and then I'm going to use the other program I mentioned. And as far as literacy programs go, I'm gonna stick with the Abeka, but also dive into here and there and here and there, and that's what I do. That's what I do. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Can you say, please like and subscribe?
Please like you right.
And hit the bell for notifications.
Hit bell for notifications.